Road running continues to grow both domestically and abroad. The number of runners joining running clubs and the marquee marathons are also bringing in good numbers, with park runs and shorter distances like the 10-kilometer and 5-kilometer races also showing an upward trend in terms of interest. To help us expand on this conversation, we've roped in a varied group of individuals in studio representing Team Cedar from Fourways and surrounding areas. We have Bongile, Binase, as well as Connie, Mkhize. Well, via Zoom, we have Gerda, Steyn, and we're still waiting for Nick Bester, who's supposed to be joining us, but we're having trouble a bit with his line. So let's start with you there, Gerda. Where are you actually right now?
Good evening, everyone. I'm currently training for the big Comrades. I'm in the French Alps at the moment on a training camp. So it's quite cold and rainy here at the moment, but yes, all focus on the Comrades Marathon at the moment.
Well, you'll be jealous to know that we still have summer here in South Africa. Winter hasn't kicked in just yet. But first, let's talk about how you got into running. You're quite a late bloomer in the sport. So how did you start racing?
That's absolutely correct. Yes, I was a late bloomer, to say the least. I only started running when I was 24, 25 years old. I got into running because I wanted to make new friends. I just thought it's a good way to connect into the community. And so I started running, and one thing led to another. I got roped into signing up for my first marathon and then for the Comrades Marathon, and things just kind of developed from there.
Yeah, I mean, we've got social runners, who, at least guys who are representing social running here in studio. Maybe this is quite an interesting one. Let's start with you there, Bongile. Your club, Team Cedar, is grown in numbers as well. But you guys don't just have ultra-marathon runners. You also have social runners. Why do you believe you guys have attracted such a wide variety of runners?
Well, firstly, good evening, Sis Kate. Thank you very much for having us. So just to clarify, so we are a running crew.
Okay.
Right, meaning that we're not an official club, meaning that also we're not affiliated with the Athletics South Africa. But to answer your question, we basically are able to attract numbers simply because of the sense of community I believe we have. We are open to anybody joining us for a run. From your beginner runner who runs at 2 kilometers to a ultra marathon runner. So it's really open to everybody. And as a result, people have found that to be very welcoming. People have found that to be very accommodating. And it's become very popular within the community of Fourways as people see us running around, and they always put up their hands and want to join us. So as a result, we attract quite a large number of people within the Fourways or North Johannesburg area.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of women are part of that, Connie. So, but also the dangers that come with running as female in this country. You know, talk us about that, and also why it's important to run maybe as a group rather than by yourself.
So, as female runners, we are quite vulnerable in the roads when we're running alone, and a lot of criminals actually pose as either delivery people and that are seeking directions. And when you run as a group, you have people who share a common goal, people who have the same interest as yourself, but also we protect each other. And although we run different paces, we try and run within the same area so that we can keep an eye on each other and make sure that we are all safe.
Yeah. On the line, Nick Bester, I understand you are back with us. Nick is, of course, the Comrades Marathon winner. Nick, are you on the line?
Yes, good evening. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Nick. Connie was just talking about the dangers of running on the road, especially for as a female. But that's not just exclusive to female, is it? Because you can testify that you've went through something similar while out on the road running.
Yes, look, this last part, but the dangers of running on the road, there's a lot of this, and especially not only the traffic that can, but also the attack like happened to me. But I think that is the reason why it's South Africa, the mind the club. And then they mingle with other people, and they can develop running groups, alone, women, Comrades, it's getting winter and time before, and normally it's dark, so make sure you don't run alone. And structure South Africa now, join a club or join a group. And some friends running with you to make you safe.
Unfortunately, Nick, your line is pretty bad. We can barely hear what you said there, but we just got a bit of, a bit of jabs of talking about how it's important to run together because it's not just exclusive to women. Gerda, I'm not sure that this is something you've experienced, running on the road and the dangers that come with that, especially an elite athlete.
Absolutely, yes. As an elite athlete, we face the same difficulties as any other social runner on the road. I have to always be vigilant when I go out for a run. I train twice a day on most days, and I'm not a good friend of the treadmill, so it's always outdoors. And I have to always make 100% sure that it's safe around me, or do what I can do to protect myself and to make sure that it is safe. And therefore, that is why I really believe that group running is the way forward. For us women, it's a much safer environment. And to see groups coming together around the cities in South Africa is really ensuring, and it makes a security blanket around us, not only for female runners, but for any runner who wants to take on the roads and want to push themselves. So I feel like the group running, whether it's an official club or a social club, it's very, very important for the running community in South Africa.
Yeah, she talks about Bongile. She talks about she's not a fan of the treadmill. She prefers running on the road. For some people, they think there's not much difference. It's still a run. What's the difference? Apart from the social, obviously you get to run with other people, so the social aspect of that, and the treadmill and all that. But in terms of fitness, why is that different?
I think that the treadmill can be a good aid if you're used to it and you're happy to run on the treadmill and run indoors without having the views and without having company. It certainly is a good alternative, and it will definitely help you to keep your fitness levels high up. So that is an option for running and for safety. But of course, like you mentioned, it takes away the social side of it, which is very important for any runner. It builds a community. Running is more than just putting one foot in front of another. It's building relationships. It's going through something together and building good bonds and strong bonds between you and your fellow runners. So it is just a pleasure to be out on the roads and meeting people and meeting new friends. And like I said, to have that safe environment, for me, that is ideal.
Yeah. What Bongile, you were going to say?
Well, I think she pretty much said it all. I'm sure the experts can then get in. I won't get into the technical differences between running on the road and the treadmill, but absolutely, like Gerda has said, the social element of it becomes a big part of it, and also just the benefits of running outside, breathing the fresh air in the South African morning or evening makes a huge difference, and the different experiences that you have of running different routes as well. Each route, it will pose different challenges, so running on treadmill is almost very repetitive and monotonous, and it can really limit your running. But as Gerda said, it is a good alternative, especially if the weather is not on your side, or you might be traveling in a place that you're not familiar with. But generally, running on the road will always be a much better option, I believe.
All right. So, Connie, I actually want to talk something that's very important, which is, mental health now is no longer a taboo topic, and a lot of people do run for those health reasons. I don't know if we've got enough time to explain this, but actually, because I want to talk about this a bit more when you come back after the break. But also for you personally, what attracted you to running, and especially this club? What did you find about them that you thought this was, this is the community that I want to be part of?
So personally, I started running after completing my studies. I was working and studying. I hardly had time for anything. And when I graduated, I realized I have all of this time in my hands.
What are you studying?
I didn't know what to do with it. It was a postgraduate degree, a master's. So with all this time, I decided to just put it into running. And what has really resonated with me with running is the ability of mental resilience that comes with running, and it's something you can apply across all areas of your life, and because you can't compartmentalize your life, right? As soon as you build that mental resilience, it just trickles trickle feeds into other areas as well. And that's the benefit of running for me that has really been significant.